Ladies and gentlemen, now hosting the RizzoCast, put your hands together for Steven Risotto!
What is going on, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 84 of RizzoCast. I'm Steven Risotto, and today we are joined by right-handed pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. It is Jay Jackson who joins us. Jay, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it, Steve. Just out here hanging out in Miami right now, so just enjoying the good weather.
Yeah, good weather in Miami. That is no surprise there, and you got some waves to watch when we're finished here. So can't wait for you to get that opportunity. But we are also recording on a Tuesday afternoon, the Tuesday just hours away from World Series game number 1. And I know obviously you'd love to be there right now, but are you going to be? Is that something that you're going to keep track of? Are you going to be watching?
Well, we should be there, just tough year, tough way to end it. But I'll keep up with it just because some of my boys are still playing, but I'm actually trying to go to the game on Friday in Atlanta because my hometown's only an hour and a half from Atlanta. So that plus my birthday's tomorrow. So it'll be a nice birthday gift to myself to go to a World Series game, right? So we're going to try to go. But other than that, I just keep up with my boys to see how they're doing. And then, baseball's done for me for the years.
So who you got? Who are some of the players that you're highlighting in this series? Who are your boys?
My boys, I played against Jock forever. I actually was in the Pirate system for a year with Charlie Morton. But I'm going to go with the Astros because me and Dusty Baker are really actually kind of close. So I want to see him win the World Series. So my money's on the Astros right now. I know everybody in Atlanta and my hometown are going to hate me, but I got to go with the Astros right now. So I'm going to keep up with just how he's been managing the game. He's been doing pretty well over the past couple series. And they've been hitting the daylights out of the ball. So we'll just see what happens. But I want to see Dusty get one.
Yeah, no, their offense is wicked, and Dusty, the winningest manager without a World Series title. So I'm on that storyline train too. I like that storyline for sure.
Like it's his time. It's his time.
It is his time for sure. And he's still very beloved in San Francisco. So I know a lot of Giants fans kind of feel the same way. Again, I mentioned, the Giants and, how you're a part of that team this year. We all know how game 5 ended, and the check swing and in the 9th, what were you thinking when you first saw that call? Like, what was your initial, and I know I hate to keep going back to it because it was more than that, but still that was kind of the one that sticks in the minds of everybody. So what were you thinking when you first saw that call?
It didn't surprise me. Not with the umpiring crew we had, really. They had been kind of like doing that the whole series, honestly. If you really look at it, like, a lot of the missed calls that were like key missed calls were favoring the Dodgers, even though like the stats say they weren't because of all of them, but like in key moments, like I just felt like we didn't get a lot of calls that weren't our way. And so those things happened and we just didn't happen, we weren't able to pull out of that either, like big situations, getting that like strike call 0-1 or 1-1 to change the whole account and stuff like that. We just didn't get those, and they took advantage of it late in the game. And, got to get them next year. Hopefully we don't have to win 100 games next year, 108 games or whatever it was next year. But Jesus Christ, but hopefully we'll get them next year. We'll get another NL West title and go a little further.
107 wins, San Francisco Giants. Everybody was thinking like 78, 79, 80 wins, and Fangraphs had them like at 0.2% or whatever it was to make the playoffs. And let's talk about this team. The Giants completely defied what the rest of baseball thought of them. And you were a big part of it. Tell me about kind of the culture and the vibe around the club this year.
It was awesome. It was all love everywhere. Everybody's just supporting everybody doing everything they can just to be consistent and win. Everybody knew what the end goal was, the vibe in there was so relaxed and cool. There was never a panic moment like from anybody. We didn't panic the whole year, even once I got there after having surgery in March and everything. There was just no panic. Like, you could tell in the games there's no panic. We'd be in the 5th, 6th inning, we'd be down 2-3 runs, and all of a sudden score 5. Like, you know what I mean? There was no panic with anybody, and that's just resonated throughout the clubhouse. Everybody had a good spirit, positive vibes all the time, and everybody just clicked together. I can give Farhan credit that he put the right clubhouse together to try to win a baseball team, because that's a big part. Like, people don't understand how big having a good clubhouse is to winning championships. You can have all the talent in the world, but if guys don't fit together and don't enjoy playing baseball, it's gonna be a long, long year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I give Farhan a lot of credit for what he did with that bullpen group too. I mean, the bullpen was kind of the unsung heroes. I mean, the second half, I think they had like the best ERA for a long stretch there. And they don't get enough credit. I mean, a lot of them are minor league free agents, including yourself. So I want to give you the opportunity here to kind of pump up the bullpen and tell me how important those guys were this season.
I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, you look at how many starters we had go down in the second half. Really, at a certain point, we had Cueto down, Alex Wood down, and or Discalfani down. And so we were running bullpen days out there 3 out of 5 days or 2 out of 5 days every week. And it's a true testament to those guys. You know, you look at the numbers those guys put up. I mean, my numbers were some of the worst in the bullpen. Those were still pretty decent numbers. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a testament to show how good those guys have been all year, and just how the bullpen just attacked hitters and got outs and got us out of big situations and put us in a position to win a lot of times. You know, keeping the leads where they're at, even if we're down 1 or 2 runs, keeping us at 1 or 2 runs where we have a chance to fight back. And like I said, our team didn't panic. So even if you give up a run or 2 here or there, all the guys know that, like, hey, we tried to do our job. We still have a chance to be in it if it's not the last out, and we'll pick you up. You know, I said that a bunch of times when I had some bad games. You know, luckily we won those games that I pitched bad because the guys picked me up. You know, that's just the type of team we were. But as far as the bullpen, that's probably been one of the best bullpens I've ever been on. Like, just fun-wise, attitude-wise, confidence-wise, just the mixed bag of nuts that we had down there, the different personalities, and everybody just fit together so well and was so supportive and caring of each other that you could tell that, like, we pumped each other up. It didn't matter who was out there throwing. Everybody knew that if we got in the game, job's going to get done. We didn't care who went out there. We want to see each other succeed.
Who's the class clown in the bullpen this year?
Jesus Christ, we had everybody. That's like an understanding. Like, everybody has their moments. Like, you'll get like little tidbits here and there from Littell. Dom would do his thing every now and then. Everybody has such a different personality, but everybody just vibed together. It was so much fun down there. We had trivia every game. You had Castro and Duvall coming in late, just kind of quiet, but once Duvall kind of like opened up a little bit, he was awesome. You got McGee down there just being a veteran, me being a kind of a little veteran, doing what I got to do. Like, Raj just coming in there having fun, being the quirky little sidearm guy. Like, we had a lot of different personalities, but it was such a great team, great bullpen. Like, everybody just vibed together. And like you said, a lot of us were minor league free agents. So during spring training, all the minor league free agents were together pretty much. So we all got to hang out and spend time together during spring training. So by the time we all got up there together, it was good.
Yeah, by the time you guys get up there, you're a part of a 107 win team.
Yeah,
you guys were like kind of outsiders in spring training, and now here you are. So that's pretty incredible. And you came up in July from AAA. I mean, 33 years old. I mean, a lot of players in your spot at that time would be wondering, you know, if they'd make it back. Was there any doubt in your mind that you'd get back to the big leagues?
No, I mean, that was never a question. I mean, like I said, I had surgery in March. I had literally spent 2 weeks in AAA before I got called up. The plan was, and they knew it, and I knew it, that if I pitched well and had my stuff, like, I'm going to be in the big leagues. Like, as long as I'm throwing well, I don't have a doubt in my mind I'll be in the big leagues. Like, as long as my stuff is where it's at, if a team doesn't want to give me a shot, that's their choice. But for me, honestly, personally, I can get big league hitters out. I know I can. I've proved it before. So that doesn't bother me. It's up to teams at this point now. It's just giving me an opportunity again to go out there and do my job. Like, that's really it.
And, you know, throughout the year, there's a lot of, you know, shuttling back and forth from AAA Sacramento and the big leagues. How was it, you know, how tough was that kind of to endure all the moving, you know, up and down while keeping kind of a strong mindset? Because I'm sure it was not easy.
It's an easier process, I would say, just me being older. Like, I've seen guys go through it. I've been in the game a long enough time. The hardest part was that that went through those things when I got optioned and shuttled back and forth was kind of like, hearing the reasoning behind why I'm getting sent down and things like that nature, because it was never because of performance.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, there's nothing else I can really do. So that was the hardest part. And then I was just lucky enough to have my girlfriend with me at times, and she would be up here and helping me get through it and packing up and driving from Sacramento to San Fran or hopping on a flight, packing my stuff up while I'm at the stadium and heading to wherever I'm going to next. I mean, there's a couple times there where I got optioned. I didn't even leave the team. So they just optioned me pretty much. So it is what it is. Like I said, you just kind of deal with it at a certain point. Like, it gets to be too much at certain times. Like, you feel like enough's enough, and like you just kind of have to reset at a certain point. But for the most part, just the business. Again, it's their team. You know what I mean? It's our team because we're the ones going out there and playing, but it's their team. Like, they get to make the decisions. Doesn't matter if I feel like I'm pitching well or I put up 18 zeros in a row. If they're like, hey, we don't want you up here. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So being optioned is just the most frustrating thing, is like not knowing why you're getting optioned and not having something to go down and try to figure out to get back. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I would say.
What's it like playing for Cap and Gabe Kapler? I mean, obviously he's probably going to win Manager of the Year this year, and I covered probably about 15 games at Oracle Park this year for SF Bay, and I've gotten the chance to be a part of some of his interviews, and I mean, he just seems very like straightforward, smart. What is kind of your aspect and your view of playing for Cap?
Great dude. He came into a tough, you look at the situation he came into, last year. Okay. And then you have a team like this year and the expectations are nothing. And then we have what we have, and he had to keep that team just coasting the whole time. Like, it could have been any point in time that like things could have went off the rails. He did a great job of making sure everybody stayed together, stayed in their lane. He was a nice calming presence. He always wants to sit down and see how you're feeling and things like that nature. He's trying to check on you to see like kind of where your headspace at. So he knows what he has that day, I feel like, more than anything else. But he did a great job just making sure our team stayed together and didn't take the lows too bad and enjoyed the moments of the highs, but, still realizing that we have work to do. Granted, we never really got to enjoy the highs too much because the Dodgers were out on our ass the whole year. But, just the fact that like him, and especially him and Buster and Craw, like just the veteran leadership we had, like I give credit to Buster and Craw at times too, because, even when those like little moments of panic started setting in, those guys would be like, hey, fact is, we have the best record in Major League Baseball. Like, why are we like even worried about this right now? Just keep playing. Like, you know what I mean? That's something like coming from not just the manager, but that flows through the players as well, especially the veterans. If you have that kind of camaraderie and you have that coming from the manager, that same feeling, and the veterans are sending that through the team, it keeps us together and keeps everything flowing the way it should.
Have you seen Cap lift?
That man lifts in jeans and jackets. Spring training like a couple times. Other than that, I let Cap do what Cap does. Cap's happy. He's doing what he's got to do. Like, he does some funky stuff from time to time, and I'm just like, hey, if that's what you want to do it. Like, you're doing a great job at what you're doing, so I'm not getting in the way of none of it.
I feel like if I saw that guy lifting, like I would just like look, and then I would completely walk the other way. That just would
100%.
I'd be too terrified.
Like, you look like when he lifts, because like I said, like he'll come in and he'll just be wearing like his street clothes and come in and lift. Like, he'll be like wearing boots, jeans, and like a V-neck and a jacket, and come in and do like 4 or 5 exercises and like a couple sets of each in that. And I'll be I'll like sometimes I go in the gym and be like, wait, what is Cap? All right, I'm leaving. I would, same thing. I would just leave. I'd come back when he's not in there, because I'm like I can't take myself seriously watching this man lift in jeans. Like, so I would go, but like I said, he does his thing. Great dude. That's one thing I can honestly say about him. He's a great guy. Everything that I've seen with him, like all the interactions I've really had with him, just the interactions he's had with other people, he's been a great guy. You can tell by like how he approaches the media and just approaches everything. Like, he tries to be well articulated and thought out before he tries to come to everything, you know. So I honestly appreciate that to a certain degree, because he tries to do the right things for the organization.
Yeah, and you mentioned Buster, and you and Buster kind of come from the same kind of type of area down south, and you've thrown to so many different catchers through the course of your career.
Yeah.
But what kind of separates Buster from the others?
Just again, Buster being Buster. Like, at the end of the day, like, Buster knows the strike zone so well. You see how he frames pitches, how he gets behind pitches, how he'll still strike for you here and there. He knows the strike zone and knows your misses. He knows, like, he makes adjustments in games to each pitch more than I'd say other guys. Because, like, if he sees you're throwing sliders at a certain way, but he knows that you have to throw sliders, he'll move his target to get your sights back on, where some guys might not do that in the at bat. Some guys might be like, hey, we'll talk about it after inning or blah, blah. He'll make that adjustment mid at bat. And then it's Buster Posey. You're not going to shake him off. So just go with it and have confidence in it. If he has confidence in you, then you're going to throw it too. I mean, I'd say him and Yasmani Grandal were two guys I was like, if they put something down, I'm throwing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know what's going on a little bit better than I do. So trust them. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And I wanted to ask this to anybody that's made a start as an opener. And as a reliever, you did make one this season. And that's, you know, you haven't made a start since 2014 prior. And I know it's a little bit different circumstances. You don't have to worry about going deep into the game. But was it different to go through that, like, starters routine again? Was it like, how different was it from starting a game compared to, like, coming in the 6th, 7th inning?
The adrenaline's not the same. I can say that. That's probably the main thing, because you have so much time and you know when you're going in. And so you have so much time to get ready. But it wasn't that much different because, again, I had surgery this spring. So I was down there rehabbing, and I was the oldest guy in the Arizona League. So I was throwing the first inning half the time anyway. So it wasn't that much different, but it was tough. Like, you know, just especially that stadium, that against the Dodgers at that, and to start the game off on a fucking pop-up that gets out barely, like, that just, you know, it sets the whole tone for the whole game kind of. And I let it get to me a little bit. That was the only thing. It's not that much different from, like, the adrenaline's different, but as far as, like, just going out there making pitches, like, no, it's just like, you see Dom was very successful at it. And so, you know, once you just get in a rhythm of it and you get used to it, it's cool. Like, they asked me, like, 2 days before, like, hey, when was the last time you started? I was like, 2014. They're like, well, would you mind starting? I'm like, I don't care if you need me to start. Start. Like, whatever the boys need to get us through this thing real quick. You know what I mean? Because, again, it was that time where we were having 3 bullpen days a week. So we were shot, but we were trying to figure it out. We were just piecing stuff together. And again, that's how good the bullpen was. Like, what, for a month there, we were going 3 bullpen days a week with no off days. Like, that's unbelievable that we got through it with as many wins as we did, and guys didn't blow out. But it's impressive. That shows you how tough our bullpen was and how good the managers and pitching coaches and front office used our bullpen, so guys weren't barking and hurt to an extreme degree after we did all that.
And I know that there's a lot around, like, you know, bullpen usage and how a guy works 2 days in a row. Like, if you work 2 days in a row, like, can you, like, this might be a stupid question, but if you work 2 days in a row, you could feel it on that 3rd day, right?
Each guy's different, which is funny, because everybody's different. Like, I was a starter, so at first, like, I'll throw the first day and then I'll have that next day off without throwing. That 3rd day, I feel it. But if I throw day 1, day 2, day 3 is just normally like the day after a normal day that I throw, so I can still throw again. But if I don't throw, then I'll feel it like day 4 instead of day 3. So
that's pretty interesting.
So guys are just different. Like, the more, like, if I throw, like, every day, it doesn't give my arm time to be like, hey, you're tired. But, like, that day it gets to recover, like, it's like, oh, like, all of it, everything flushes out of it, and then you have to, like, almost build it back up again. So it's like that day after that you don't throw, you're like, all right, I gotta, like, off days are the worst for me. The day after an off day, I am trash. Like my arm just feels like it takes so long to get ready. Everything's just like not moving the way I want it to, because you had a whole day to just veg and do nothing.
Yeah, and you're a guy that relies a lot on movement, and one of the things that moves in your arsenal, you rely heavily on the slider, and you threw it almost 65% of the time. How did that pitch kind of become a big one for you?
I mean, I've always had it. I've been throwing the same slider really since I was 11, 12 years old. I just kind of perfected it, I guess. But it's always been a decent pitch. It's always been a pretty good pitch. And then just the more I've used it over the years, I mean, obviously you've seen how baseball's kind of changed, where it doesn't matter really how hard you throw anymore. Everybody's hitting fastballs. So if you have decent off-speed stuff, you get away with stuff a lot more. So the more I've started throwing it, the more control I've gotten over it. And, they've told me my analytics on it are pretty good. So I don't really keep up with analytics like that to care. I just try to go out there and get outs, honestly. And I'm like bottom line, if slider's working that day, slider's working. If it's fastball working that day, I want to use that. Like, I'm not going to complain about throwing my slider 65% because it was working, but I like to keep it like a 60-40 or 50-50 around there, just because hitters start being able to key off a lot of stuff, and it actually helps a lot that I can just end up throwing fastballs in the second half of the season normally because they're sitting on sliders. But I like to keep them guessing and keep a good mix anyway. But literally, it's been the same one since I was 12. So,
hey Jay, your analytics look really good on that slider. Okay, like you're not trying to do anything. It's the same slider.
Yeah, pretty much. Like every time we'll have a live VP or we'll have bullpens and stuff, like your slider's moving a lot, blah, blah, like, oh, this one didn't move as much. Like, what'd you change? I was like, trying to throw strikes, bro.
Yeah, I didn't go to Yale.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm not in quantum mechanics. I'm trying to throw a baseball in this little tiny mitt. You understand how hard that is in the first place? Like, I have to throw 15 strikes out of like 20 pitches. Like, that's already hard enough to think about. Oh, well, like, how'd you grip this? And you need to throw it this way. Like, just if they hit it and get out, I'm good.
Exactly. I want to ask about, so, midway through the season, the umpires started checking for the foreign substances walking off the mound. What is like the like, what do they say to you? Like when they walk off the mound, do they go oh, sorry, we have to do this? Or like, yeah. What is that conversation?
That literally was it. They were just like checking it. They were over it too, because they were just like, it's baseball. Like for me, the biggest thing I think the umpires had a problem with too probably was like how they changed everything in the middle of the year. Yeah. Like you didn't give guys any time to do anything. Because that thing what Glasnow said is true. Like if you half the balls you get are so slick, if you don't have any tack anywhere, or if you're not sweating, you have to grip the ball harder, and that puts more tension on your elbow and all types of other crazy stuff. And you're gonna get guys that are blowing out. And because I had to start gripping my slider harder, and my arm started hurting a little bit more. But again, my accuracy and stuff was off because I didn't have the same feel for it. But I think they're coming out with the new balls next year, hopefully, and they were actually pretty good. We got to use them a couple of times the last couple of weeks of AAA, so they're actually not that bad. But the umpires were over it. They were just like here, give me your glove. Like they
don't mind us. We have to do this.
They were like the guys in AAA were bigger dicks than the guys in the majors. Yeah. Like I didn't get into it with one of the guys in AAA, but he was like I have like body spray or whatever to spray on my hat because like your hats stink all year. I only use one hat all year. So I have like body spray that like I'll spray on my hat and spray on top of my hat, and like it leaves like a little white mark on top of my hat. So it looks like rosin, but it's not rosin. Umpire after an inning was like, what's this on your hat? I'm like, it's body spray. He like touched it. He's like, it's not sticky. I'm like, it's body spray. He's like, well, if you're coming back on the next thing, can you like wipe that off? I'm like, bruh, I'm not wiping that shit off. It's body spray. Like, I'm not wiping it off. Like, if you want to kick me out of the game for this, like, cool. But I'm not changing my hat.
Yeah, those guys are trying to get up. They're trying to get up to the big leagues, and that guy probably won't. But
there's a lot of guys that won't, because those dudes,
Yeah, no,
Play
that's definitely interesting. But
pretty bad.
Glasnow came on. Glasnow's a friend of the show. He came on before that happened, and
Really
yeah, so he's that was probably
awesome.
my biggest get. But no, he mentioned he thought that directly you know
100%.
led to his injury, and like he mentioned that when you grip the ball harder, it goes more to your forearm, and then your forearm, what's connected to that. So I mean, he made a really good point there.
It's true.
Yeah, one thing that I want to ask is you wear a necklace on the mound. Is there any like significance behind the
Oh, I
necklace
can
that
go
you
get it.
wear? Oh, you got it.
Which one? I just actually, like I said, I just hopped out of the shower not too long ago, so I didn't put my necklaces back on. But like, I have two. I have two. So,
Yeah, I recognize the one on the right. So what are the significance of each?
this one is black tourmaline, which tourmaline is my birthstone.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a black version of it. So I got it in Sedona during spring training, and I just start wearing it, and I just never really take it off except for when I shower. So, and then this one is, I got this one a couple years ago. This is actually, the charm is supposed to be a 3-star Dragon Ball for my son, because when he was in his mom's belly while we were in Japan, we called him Goku. So I got a 3-star Dragon Ball because he's actually technically the third of our lineage. My dad's senior, I'm junior, and my son is the third. So got a 3-star Dragon Ball. So those are the two. I don't wear the charm during the game because it's too heavy, but I wear the necklace though.
That's awesome. That's really cool. One thing that I want to segue to is, a big challenge this season was reading about how, you had the racist and inappropriate messages that you received on social media after an outing. And, when you read stuff like that, even when where you are now in your life, early 30s and all the progress we've made as a country, and you're still reading this stuff. And I know you grew up in the South. Is there still that pain that's generated when you read that stuff, or have you kind of taught yourself to gulp and move on? What is dealing
It's
with
not,
that like?
you don't really gulp and move on. Things like that, when it happens, it's just, it shows how ignorant and stupid people are, for me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're really taking it that serious that you have to call people out of their name because they're playing a game that you can't even play, like, that doesn't bother me. Like I said, and plus I'm from the South. Like I told the reporters and stuff before, I was like, number one, I'm from the South. 2, I'm black and from the South. 3, I'm black and from the South and played baseball. And 4, I'm black and I'm from the South. I played baseball and I was pretty good at it. So I heard it a lot growing up in South Carolina. Like I would just, our teams would be, I would be pitching or hitting, and we'd be beating the daylight out of people's teams in Little League and AAU, and I would hear it all over the place, especially in the backwoods of South Carolina. Yeah, like, it happens all the time. So it's not taking a gulp and moving on so much as just realizing you get comfortable and feeling that, like, that's not you. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason they're saying that is because they're mad about something else. Like, ooh, like all those messages were from guys like, oh, you lost me money. Like, the spread was supposed to be this. The Diamondbacks weren't supposed to win, or they weren't supposed to score this many runs. So they're like, oh, I lost $15. I lost $100 because you gave up 3 runs. I'm like,
get a life.
Okay, well, like, you lost $100 on you giving up 3 runs. I gave up 3 runs, and I could possibly get sent to AAA and lose $500,000. So, like, what are you really mad about? You know what I mean? So, like, for me, like, just going through those things, and it's just, I wanted to be kind of a light for other guys to feel comfortable doing that, because I know there's a lot of guys on the team that got messages before I got there and after I got there of the same kind of like ilk, and they didn't want to say anything because they're like, we get them all the time. I was like, the whole point is when you get them is to show them, just not because it's going to cause anything, but to be like, hey, like, we get these, like, we're people, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going out there doing the best we can, and things are going to happen from time to time. Like, I don't go to Burger King and, like, you make some fries or whatever. I'm like, all these fries are too burnt. Like, fuck you. I lost a lot of money. Like, I need new stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. I'm not going to call you out of your name just because you messed up some French fries.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. And you walk in, the ballpark the next day, What was the support of your teammates like after that?
It was love. Everybody was rallying around me. That's why I said our team's awesome with that. The city, the fans, the media, everybody in that city rallied around me. And I didn't really expect it. Like, I didn't think anything of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just did it just to be like, hey, like, we're humans. Like, you don't need to say this. Tell me I pitch bad. Cool. But like, you don't have to go out of the way. Tell me you want my family to die, or I need to do this and that. Like, you know what I mean? Calling me the N-word. Like, that thing's like just completely like beyond what it needs to be. And then I came to the field the next day and everybody was just like, love, like, sorry that happened. Like, we got your back if you ever need anything. And it's, you know, it makes a guy feel wanted. It makes a guy feel appreciated. It makes a guy feel supported and part of a team. You know what I mean? So that helps out a lot. And those guys were amazing. Like, I can't thank them enough. I can't say enough to them. Like, I tell those guys all the time, every time I see those guys, just my team in general, every time I see them here or there, like in the locker room, out, if we're out, like having a drink or having dinner together, just, you know, you guys like appreciate it. Thanks for letting me be a part of this, you know, because like they didn't have to like accept me the way they did. Because again, I haven't been with the organization. I came in late at that, had surgery. We were in spring training. I wasn't in the main locker room with all the big league guys. All the AAA and minor league signees were in another locker room completely. So for them to accept me, like, and support me and rally around me after all that, it means a lot.
Mhm. And one thing that stands out to, I think a lot of Giants fans and people that are around the team, you seem like a really positive guy. I mean, I'm just listening to you speak here and always smiling, you know, walking off the mound, smiling, walking off the mound. And you seem to really enjoy baseball, Jay. When did that kind of start for you?
You know, like, I got drafted by the Cubs. I had a long stretch with the Cubs when I first got drafted, never was able to get called up, dealing with a lot of stuff there, being a prospect, and then just not getting called up and then asking for my release, just going through a lot of different baseball headaches and just growing through the game. You know what I mean? A lot of things that I've gone through, I've seen guys quit over. And for me to keep going, and just one day I literally was just at home, like, what, it was like 2014, I believe. It was in the off season 2014. I was just at home and I was just like, actually no, it's 2012. I was just at home and I was just like, you know what? Like, I just need to be happy. Like, if things are gonna work out the way they're supposed to, then they will. But I need to enjoy these moments, and not worry about them. I need to just, you know, let everything play out the way it is, and let everything take care of itself, and just enjoy being in the moment. And ever since then, like, my whole career's kind of like shifted a little bit, and it's kind of just been on the uphill since then. And that's all I try to do. At the end of the day, like, my career ends tomorrow, or the Giants don't sign me back, or whatever else might happen, I've had a pretty good career for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially if it ends after this year that I had in the big leagues, I'm cool with that to a certain degree. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had a pretty good year in the big leagues. We won the NL West. I feel like I have a lot more to give and a lot more to offer, but I'm just happy, regardless. I'm blessed to be able to play baseball every day. I go out there every day with the mindset that, like, I could be doing something else. I know a lot of my friends that didn't even make it, you know, 1 year out of pro ball, or didn't even make it to the big leagues. You know, there's only 20,000 Major League Baseball players ever to play in the big leagues. So I'm blessed to do it. I'm happy to do it. I get to see the fans' faces when I get done, or even before, like, you know what I mean? You get to just take that in and go be on a beautiful playing surface on a beautiful day, especially if it's a day game somewhere. Like, there's a day game in San Francisco, day game in LA, day game in San Diego, you know, a day game in Miami. You know, you see those games, you see how beautiful the fields are and how the sunset, like the sun's over the field, and how it's where else would you want to be, you know, besides the beach or somewhere like that? If you like being outside, where else would you really want to be? So I try to not take that for granted, even in the minors. Like, you go to the stadium and you see these fields, and you're going out there and you're playing a kid's game, but it's a job. But in order for me to be successful at it, I need to be positive and happy more than some guys that can take an angered, serious, stern approach to it. You know what I mean? So it's just all fitting in there. And I just try to do the best I can and be positive and try to help the guys as much as I can, especially being 33.
Mm-hmm.
I try to help these young guys just, you know, realize their potential more than anything else, because they're the future of the game at this point. I'm on my way out, but they're coming in. They can change this game and help the younger guys after them too, hopefully.
100%. And what was kind of your reaction when you saw, someone on Giants Twitter making a fan cam? That's what they're called, the fan cam videos, like the TikTok video highlight of you. Did you see that? Because I know you retweeted it.
I saw like one. I think I commented on one that somebody made, but I didn't know how many. Like, I didn't know somebody made another one. But like, yeah, like I need to find it then, because those are awesome. Like, I just like, that would make my day. Like, I love seeing like people that have pictures of me like smiling and like coming off the field. Like, I've got a couple of them with like me smiling with Buster, me smiling with a couple of other guys, me smiling coming off the field. But like, I haven't seen the TikTok or like whole like gifs of them or stuff like that. That would be awesome though.
Yeah, man, you're famous. You're famous. I do want to touch before we kind of take off here. I want to ask about Japan, because your sporadic career, and made your debut 2015 with the Padres, return in 2019 with the Brewers, 2021 with the Giants, and then you played in Japan. In between, what was kind of that experience like going overseas?
I loved it. Guys, you kind of feel like you get forced to go over there at times, but I felt like it was a great opportunity. The Padres at the time were telling me kind of the same thing that most teams, like, oh, we're going to use your options. Like, we like you, you're doing well, but if a situation arises, like, we're going to use your option. Like, we need another spot, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that's the case, I'm going to go over here, because at least I know I'm getting guaranteed and I'm going to be on a team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, they're appreciating me and they want me there. It doesn't seem like you want me here. You know what I mean? That's, for me, I feel like I've gone to places that I feel appreciated and wanted at more than anything else. Because I feel like you can be more positive in those situations, whereas it's like, oh, I'm forcing somebody to sign me pretty much, and you're going in, they kind of don't want you there either. It's been like that. So I felt like going to Japan, they wanted me there. My salary was guaranteed. I had a chance to make some extra money and incentives. And that was going to be a better situation than me being up and down in El Paso and San Diego. And so I just luckily had success over there, stayed for 3, came back, went back again in 2020, then spent half the year with the Reds last year, and then signed with the Giants. But I loved it. Like I said, my son's over there now still. Like, I couldn't ask for anything more in that experience than I had. I had a whole bunch of friends. I won 3 championships over there. So I've got a couple rings. We're lucky enough to do that. Play with some great players. Play with some Hall of Famers. I played with Kuroda.
Yeah, Kuroda.
I played with Seiya Suzuki, who might be coming over next year. I got to play against Kosuke Fukudome. Like, I had a lot of fun over there. Like, again, main thing is fun. Won 3 rings.
Yeah, and Fukudome was with the Cubs when you were in their organization.
He was, which is funny because I talked to him about it when we played their team in Japan. I was like, Fuki, you remember me? He's like, oh. I was like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, God, it's been so long. Because there's like 45 over there still playing this year. He played this year too. He's like 43. I think he had like 3 home runs.
That's incredible. Yeah, Daisuke made his last appearance, I think, this season. Yeah.
Yeah.
41 years old.
I had some boys like Corey Spangenberg's on that team with Daisuke, I believe, which was one of my old teammates. Who else is on that team? I think that's really like that team's really kind of weird over there. But
and they like Daisuke, the American players.
Yeah, like how they do their contracts and stuff and their incentives and stuff like that. Like, they cap it off a lot, like really quick, and like they don't make their starting salaries that much either. So it's just really like they're like not a low budget team, but they act like a low budget team to foreigners, which is kind of weird. Except for Ernesto Mejia. Ernesto made a ton of money for that team. Yeah, I was happy for him. That was awesome.
Yeah, some guys just go down there and they put up numbers and they come back. Like Eric Thames did that 1 year in Korea. So that was, it's definitely really cool, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think Tyler Austin's about to do it.
Yeah, he's in Korea.
Been over there for 2 years. He's in Japan.
Japan. Sorry. Yeah.
He's in Japan. He's playing for the team that Tutsugo used to play for in Yokohama.
The Bay Stars. Yeah, I had someone on from the Bay Stars. Michael Peoples was.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah.
Yes.
He was. I don't think he was over there when I was over there my last year over there.
I think he came during the pandemic.
Yeah. So he's playing in that stadium. That's a good stadium for him. It's a good league for him. Like I'm happy for him. Austin's a great guy. I love that guy. And he's just hitting taters left and right over there too. It's crazy. So I feel like they're gonna have to sign him, especially if Tutu doesn't come back. They have 2 foreigners over there now in Yokohama. Their second baseman and Tyler, who just mash balls. So it's gonna be interesting to see, and I do wish him all the best. It'll be interesting to see if he comes over here next year too. But I think he'll do better to stay over there if they're gonna pay him more for sure.
Yeah, Austin, former Giant, by the way. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
he was in the Giants the year. I think he came from the Giants the year he came to the Brewers with us.
It might have been the same year. Yeah.
I think it was 19 because he went from the Yankees to the Giants to the Brewers, I believe.
Yeah, it was 19 because he was a Farhan. He was one of the early Farhan acquisitions. So Tyler Austin was definitely he had a few big hits. I remember.
He had a lot of big hits for us in Milwaukee that year too to get us to the wild card. There was a couple like late inning homers and doubles that he hit. Man's got stupid power.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anyways, before we wrap up here, what's the off season looking for you? Any plans? I know you're in Miami now. When do you kind of get into go mode in terms of baseball activity?
I was actually we've been done for 2 weeks now. Baseball activities will probably start the next 2-3 weeks, I'd say. Going to the gym, I've been kind of just doing like at home, like body weight stuff and just trying to veg out and just kind of let my body heal and recover and try to get some massages and see a couple of my chiropractors and doctors to get my body realigned right now. But I'll start like working out again probably this week, get in the gym, and then like I said, baseball activities next 2-3 weeks, and then bullpens probably January. Just start playing catch light right now and then start ramping up probably early mid-December, and then be ready for bullpens January, and then spring training full go February. But as far as off season, probably a lot of traveling. I'll be in Arizona a good bit. Like I said, I live in Florida. I actually live in Tampa. I have a house in Tampa, so I'll be in Tampa. And I'll be seeing my family in South Carolina, so I'll be bouncing back and forth and just training, really, just trying to find the good weather.
Awesome. Yeah, good weather for sure. Can't wait to see you next year. Jay, appreciate you coming on, man. It was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Steve. And
you guys can follow Jay, of course, on Twitter and Instagram at JaxLand58. That's JAXLAND 58. And then go check out his merch, his clothing stuff. Team
I'm
Jack.
Actually dropping tomorrow.
There
For
you
my
go.
birthday, I'm dropping my birthday tomorrow, so it'll be fun. It'll be interesting.
There you go. Some birthday merch, and I was just on the website. I mean, those In Smiles We Trust. I got to get me one of those. So, happy birthday, Jay! By the way, enjoy Miami.
Thank you.
If you guys want to follow the podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok now too, at RizzoCast. So yeah, I've expanded to TikTok. That's been interesting. And then of course, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and you can find us there. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and have a great day.